Okay, this is going to be a short video because I'm pissed and it's cold. There's a lot of people who are pissed, and we should be pissed because what happened today is an absolute travesty in regards to the verdict of Kate Steinle's murderer. And I will say he's a murderer even though he was found not guilty, except of being a felon in possession of a firearm. He was even acquitted of involuntary manslaughter, a form of negligent homicide. Let that sink in. This was political bukkake theater. And yeah, I use that word on purpose because it's absolutely disgusting what's going on. What this was, and I honestly do try to refrain from swearing in videos, but this was a giant fuck you to anybody who believes in state and national sovereignty and the rule of law. This was a giant political push. This is all it was. This was a big middle finger to every single one of us who believe in equitable justice. And it wasn't. So, what are some of the takeaways? Real quick takeaways. If you make illegal entry into the United States, you are more important to the Democrat Party than the United States citizen. That is the primary takeaway that people should realize. People should realize that the Democratic Party has been what I would say is criminally, not negligent so much, but they have been, definitely been, I would say it's actually a conspiracy against the United States, to be completely honest, because you get these sanctuary cities. Now California is a sanctuary state. You get free tuition. You get these different forms of benefits. There is the what phrase people don't like, the anchor baby phrase. Well, guess what? Per the 14th Amendment, it doesn't matter if you're born here. Just because you're born here doesn't automatically make you a citizen. That is utter bullshit. All right, that has never even been adjudicated. It goes against the initial commentary on the 14th Amendment, which the committee who drafted and wrote it, the 14th Amendment, were clear that it did not apply to aliens. So, and the only Supreme Court case around foreigners being born here being granted birthright citizenship was from the 1890s, and it involved permanent resident green card holders, and that was predicated on British common law. And guess what, boys and girls? We're not born subjects of the crown anymore. British common law, in regards to being born property of the state or of the crown, does not apply here when we committed treason in 1776. So, get over it. That needs to be fixed. So the Democratic Party has been enticing foreigners to come here and make illegal entry to create more citizens because they know the demographic voting blocks will vote for them. In addition to that, they also encourage them to come here and just to be here to be counted for the census, because the census says person or people, does not state citizen, although it does explicitly state that at the time Indian tribes were not counted because they were not taxed, because they were not citizens. So that was later changed after the Indian Citizenship Act, when citizenship was granted through congressional legislation to include the native tribes, and then the subsequent immigration acts. So, long, boring diatribe on it, but this is what's happening. We have 2018 midterm elections coming up. People need to get pissed. People need to get off their asses. People need to get out there. You need to not only vote, you need to campaign. You need to push someone who is best for the job to run. Run for your county supervisor positions, run for your state assembly, run for your state senate, challenge your sheriff, run for every position available, challenge them. Just because this has been a bastion of progressive Marxist ideas doesn't mean we have to roll over and take it or become a refugee running to another state. Guess what, boys and girls? The states are running out of space. That is a game of attrition, and we will lose, especially since we're being replaced by foreigners who will come in here. They'll happily vote. Oh, foreign illegals don't vote. Yeah, whatever. My ass, they don't. In California, it's relatively a gimme. You think the California DMV is really gonna make sure that the citizenship is in order? No. Yes, it's a felony for them to fill out the form and to vote. Yes, they know that. Many of them don't care. It's illegal for them to come here anyways, and clearly they don't care. When you entice a whole group of people who are used to not caring about law and order from a government because their governments are systemically corrupt, can you really blame them? Honestly, I don't. I do not blame the South Americans and the Central Americans who are coming up to take advantage of our stupidity. I don't blame them at all. I really harbor no animosity towards them at all. It's the Democrat Party that switched from overt oppression to co-opting oppression. And I get in all sorts of arguments about how, oh no, that's bullshit, there was this great switch. No, there really wasn't. Blacks started changing their votes because the Great Depression depleted everybody's economic situation so bad that they started voting Democrat in the 1930s because of the New Deal. While the Democrat Party was still embracing the KKK, it went against their interests. So, but strange bedfellows. And subsequently, Lyndon Baines Johnson switched the party from overt oppression to co-opting because this isn't their words, but this is what I'm going to paraphrase as, if you can't own their bodies, own their votes. So, and that's essentially what the Democrat Party has done. And they still want to try to own us. They still try to tell us what we can and can't do. They still want to tell us what we can and can't do with our bodies. And you don't have to be pro or anti-vaccine as far as the technology or the science. I believe in the science. However, I am a strong skeptic of anybody I cannot sue for damages, even though there is a federally mandated trust fund. So that's my position. The science is real. I've also dealt with vaccine side effects for 12 years now from my cowpox injection. Over there, my left shoulder. Cowpox is what you're given for the vaccine for smallpox. I got it when I went to Egypt, when I deployed, and I still have swelling in my armpit 12 years later from it. So side effects are real. The variable response to how often it happens and the severities, obviously that's mostly debated and everything, but I know that they're real because I've dealt with them, so you can't tell me otherwise of, oh, that didn't happen. Yeah, bullshit, screw you. But get involved. Push people. Help people. Good people will not want to run. They will not want to drag their names through it. They will not want the attention. Push them. We need to do this. I'm going to be getting involved. I don't know exactly what I'm doing yet, but I'm going to get involved. As we all should. We should not be complicit anymore. We should take this and we should run with it. We need to protect our state sovereignty. We need to protect our national sovereignty. We need to protect our citizens. We need foreigners who made illegal entry. Most of them need to just go back to their country of origin. They need to go home. It's not a prison sentence. If there are extenuating circumstances, as far as like what could be considered refugee status, take into consideration. The so-called dreamers, you know what? You knew you weren't here to be. You knew for years you were not allowed to be here, and you stayed here anyways, without making efforts to be here. Now, if someone has obviously made efforts and petitioned to make entry and to be part of the United States, and they fall into that category, you know what? Let's consider that. Or maybe we can take a cue from the French, and we can just establish Foreign Legion. And if you really want to stay, just going to school is not good enough. You're going to have to prove it, and you're going to have to surrender all sorts of privileges and rights to go fight for us overseas in all these crap holes. And you'll earn it. And you'll earn a new identity, like the French Foreign Legion. Maybe that's the route we should take for it. So, what happened to the Steinle family today is bullshit. We should be pissed. I am pissed. I've just been mulling about this, and I'm just so sick of this crap. And We can't be pissed to where we get stupid. We should always be pissed and be smart about it. And that's what we need to remember, that democracy is for suckers. It's a romantic idea for suckers. Because all it does is prey on the emotional fervor of people during tragic events, and it turns the voting bloc into a mob. And a mob is more than happy to surrender their rights in order to satisfy their appetite for whatever cause they're rallied to at the time. That's why the progressive Marxists love democracy. We need to restore a republic. We need to restore a republic in California. We need to restore republics throughout all of the Union and all of the states. Our United States. Not the United States, our United States. The United States are sovereign. Not the United States is. We need to get back to fundamentals. And we need to get to work. And frankly, we need to do this for our citizens, our future posterity, and also people like Kate Steinle and this utter bullshit. The guy murdered her. Not even guilty of involuntary manslaughter. That is what the leftists think of us. That's what they think of you. We're nothing more than just Nazis and white supremacists and all this other stupid horse shit. There's only one race, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. It's the human race. We're all humans. We're all brothers and sisters. And this divide and conquer identity politics crap, well, it's coming from the party of segregation and the party of slavery, so there's no reason why we should be surprised. All they did was just change their targets and change their strategies, rather than uniting the citizenry for the betterment of all of us. You know, the phrase "a rising tide lifts all boats." They don't give a crap about that. Look at all the socialist despot shitholes around the world. They want to be on top controlling it. They want to be the rich elite. They want us to be the serfs, the peasants, giving us our little tokens of bread and our morsels so we continue to fall in line and listen and shut up and obey. We need to stop falling in line and stop obeying. We need to exercise our rights, our lawful, unalienable, God-given rights. Our founding document recognizes our rights come from God, and that government exists to secure our rights, which means our rights are superior to government. Remember that. Let's get to work. Let's do something. Let's find a way to honor Kate, not just with a name and a law after. Let's actually do something for the Union and protect people and protect the citizenry, and maybe even once we take care of home, maybe even after that we can do more through foreign policy to help protect Mexican citizens. Over 100,000 of them have died in the last 10, 20 years, because in part, mostly because of the war on drugs. So we can do better for everybody. I'm done.